Hodgson for Astrogems, and I'm looking at a lot of different pieces of jewelry with various gemstones in them, and I'm appraising them and identifying the gemstones. And Karen and I thought we'd just share this little journey that we do looking at the jewelry. This jewelry's being donated to a charity, and I love to do help them out with their gemstone identification and valuation. I've separated all the jewelry into red stones and green stones, and of course immediately you have a good idea what some of the stones are from experience, but there's always a few surprises, and it's important that we don't necessarily follow what the people who generously donated their jewelry think the jewelry piece is. And unfortunately, most people who donate their jewelry think they're donating a lovely sapphire ring or a lovely expensive piece of jewelry, and it's very, very often synthetic. And so often jewelers who don't know how to use a polariscope, a chronoscope, a dichroscope, a refractometer, don't know how to separate the qualities of the gemstone to identify specifically that it's a particular crystal group, sell forward a gemstone that they bought under a certain name, believing it to be so, and the customer thinks that too. And it's a continual battle for the gemologists, who are also jewelry sellers, to let the customer understand the real value behind the gemstone. So I just picked up this stone here. It's a pendant, and it's a large stone, so immediately one would think it would be an amethyst based on the color. It's got a slight reddish pink tinge to it, so it could be a Zambian amethyst, set in silver. And you know, the setting is a bit of a giveaway. If it was a Zambian amethyst, you might almost think it would be set in gold, because it's a very high-end amethyst color. And it looks like it's about, I would say about 18 carats, looking at the depth of the table in the pavilion. And we're going to put it on the refractometer, and to do that you have to use this fairly toxic refraction fluid, which is dries out at room temperature very quickly and puts off some fairly nasty gases. And we put it on the filter glass, a little daub of this liquid on the filter glass right there, and immediately you get a good whiff of a fairly strong aroma. You put it away tight because it dries away so quickly, and then you put the amethyst on the refractometer and you slide it onto the fluid. Now right now the liquid's suppressed. Now I'm going to turn on the light for the refractometer. I'm going to put the light dispersion down. I'm going to turn off this bedside lamp here, and I'm going to look to see what the refraction is. And it's not a very good reading. I'm not getting a 1.54 reading, so I'm going to verify that it's definitely not an amethyst I'm going to use it. I'm in a hotel room, so I'm using the most powerful flashlight I can find. And okay, I'm getting a reading that it's indicating it's a synthetic VINEAL sapphire. So I'm just going to verify that again. I'm going to put the flashlight right on it. Very strong reading, 1.7776. Absolutely nothing in the 1.54 range. And I don't know if the iPhone will pick up. Looking through this lens, you get an angle of the light traveling through the gemstone, which indicates a unique measurement to every crystal group that will give you a characteristic signature indicating the nature of the crystal refraction. Now I'm going to take it off the refractometer. I'm going to wipe the liquid off because it'll otherwise form a fairly nasty crystalline deposit and damage my filter glass. Now I'm going to put the what we believe now may be a synthetic quartz. I haven't looked at it closely through a loupe to verify that too, which type of synthetic. There's many different types of synthetic gemstone, and then you've got the laboratory grown crystals, of course, which are a very different kettle of fish. I put it in the gem tweezers, which I can spin and rotate. I've turned on the polariscope. I've also got a chronoscope here, which I could use, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And then looking at what I'm sure the person who donated this thought was an amethyst, I'm going to rotate the polariscope, and I'm going to stand up to look in the stone, and it's not giving me the characteristics of a natural sapphire. It's not giving me the characteristics of a purple quartz, which is what amethyst is, and it looks almost assuredly that it's a VINEAL purple sapphire that is a synthetic. It's created using a extremely high temperature hydrogen flame and melting corundum powder, and it creates like a candle effect, a boule, and a very beautiful color, very hard, as hard as a sapphire, and that's another indication that there is no scratching on the facet edges, which would occur possibly with an amethyst, because amethyst is a softer material. And now I would confirm this by looking through a stereo microscope to see if there's any striations of curvature under the facets. But for all intents and purposes, sadly, the well-meaning person who donated this donated a synthetic VINEAL purple sapphire, and you can bet by the way it was made that they thought they were getting a lovely, deep, natural amethyst. Most amethysts, by the way, I ever see is laboratory grown. There's very few high quality amethyst material out there, and the laboratory grown amethyst has the same reading on the refractometer as a natural, so you can't tell with a refractometer. But that's just a very basic example of what I'm going to do with all these different gemstones, using a dichroscope, a refractometer, the diamond tester, the polariscope. There's a lot of different instruments you need to use to identify and appraise these lovely different colored gems. As a gemologist with a certification in colored gemstones, this is it's fun, but it takes time. It's definitely takes time, but when you're doing it for a good charity, you want to be sure that you're representing the truth. Thank you very much. Because the stone was so large and purple, after having given the sapphire a refractive index reading, it was redundant to give it a thorough polariscope reading, as both synthetic and natural sapphires follow the same blinking rotation impressions on the polariscope or dark field loupe. Hence, I did not do a thorough rotation on the lower plate analyzer of the polariscope. Instead, it was more conclusive to confirm it had fine-line curved striae within the gem using a loupe. This assumption of it being a synthetic was based also on the fact that very large inclusion-free purple sapphires are so extremely rare in this size that to be set in silver would be highly unlikely. Also, the faceting cut was a robotic machine cut done with little interest in the gem's quality, which is commonly the case with synthetics.